Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I want to discuss a topic that a lot of fans have been debating really ever since the Cell Saga of Dragon Ball Z. That surrounds Vegeta, and more of the question and the discussion of, did Vegeta surpass Goku as a Super Saiyan after the 3 years of training in preparation for the androids? Well, when it comes down to everything, I'm going to be taking a look at all of the evidence here in this video, discussing why it is that he likely did surpass Goku, and not just that, but additionally, I'm also going to be discussing how he did it and why a lot of people seem to have confusion about that. So let me get into that right now. Okay, so let's begin with the first moment in which Vegeta became a Super Saiyan in the Cell Saga, which is when he saved he saved Goku from Dr. Gero Android 20 and from Android 19, as you could see laying down here on the ground after he got a kick right in the face. You could even see that little foot mark. What size 2 Vegeta or something like that at this point? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, what ended up happening is that, we find out that Vegeta, he said that he had been observing Goku during the fight, figuring out what the power of the androids were. He also observed that Goku was noticing just that he was undergoing the heart virus problems, but he still considered going Super Saiyan, even though it caused it to kick in even more. And at this point, he does say that his target has always been you, Kakarot, which, of course, is going to be something that is going to come into play when we talk about how Vegeta became as powerful as he did at this point. So right here, when he goes to fight against the androids, as we see right here, he said that, he had observed them, that their legend far outstripped their realities, and that Saiyans simply can't be reduced to numbers. He also said that they seemed surprised when Kakarot became a Super Saiyan, and he's curious if androids like him feel fear. And that's when Vegeta becomes a Super Saiyan for the first time on screen, at least, in the manga and, in the anime variant of it, in which, we do see him going Super Saiyan, and then we actually get in the anime a flashback to him doing that through his training on an asteroid or some other planet about to get hit by it, something like that. However, in the manga, Vegeta actually explains more in depth as to how he became a Super Saiyan, which is that he says right here, in response to what Krillin says of, no way, why is he a Super Saiyan? I thought that you had to have a pure heart. My heart is pure evil. Which, I don't really think that's the case anymore at this point, but Vegeta likes to, throw in those little zingers every now and then. I desired nothing but to be stronger. I endured a training from hell. Then I ran into a wall, my own limits. In a rage I felt toward myself, I awoke into a Super Saiyan. I overflowed with joy. I finally surpassed Kakarot. I could be the true Messiah. So this is where, the true Saiyan Messiah. So this is where Vegeta first starts to state that he is more powerful than Goku. And notice how no one here actually makes the statement that he is not correct. They're all sensing his power, and they had sensed Goku as a Super Saiyan when he was fighting against the androids. Of course, before that point, what ended up happening was that we did find out that Goku was a little bit weakened when it came to him, transforming, because the fact that he was suffering, as we could see right here, from the effects of the heart virus. Even the sensu beans weren't helping him, and then he was also being drained and not fighting really on his full 100% guard, because the fact that he was kind of, suffering the stress from his heart and allowed himself to get his power absorbed time after time before eventually he got beaten down and Vegeta had to save him. So what ended up happening during all of that is the fact that, we didn't see Goku at 100% at that point necessarily. However, there is a character right here who definitely has seen Goku at 100% as a Super Saiyan on a number of occasions during their training, which is Piccolo. Same thing with Gohan, who also was one of the people noticing that Goku wasn't going as hard as he could, that there was something wrong, because the two of them, as we could see right here, trained together with Goku. This is actually the only panel that we see of this training where Goku is a Super Saiyan while he's fighting against both Piccolo and Gohan. So obviously they have seen Goku as a Super Saiyan many times over the course of those 3 years, and then in turn as a result, they were able to figure out how powerful Goku would be and why, as we could see, here, everyone was worried about Goku and his strength when he was fighting against the androids. However, with that being said, there's even more evidence to talk about Vegeta and his training, because whereas we did see that Vegeta was training intensely, or at least we saw here that Gohan and Goku and Piccolo were training together, Vegeta was training on his own and undergoing a very different type of training than the others. Whereas they were all training outside in the wilderness and so on and so forth, as Vegeta went to Dr. Brief at Capsule Corp, we see here that he actually had him create the gravity room, the gravity chamber, which would actually give him 3 times the increase of gravity comparative to what Goku trained under at the maximum under gravity on his way to Namek. He said that I heard Kakarot trained under 100 G, I can handle 3 times that. And then Dr. Brief says, that's insane. You weigh 60 kilograms, then you're going to weigh 18 tons. So Vegeta was doing this for years. As we can even see right here, we see that he is really stressing, himself to the limit. He's exhausted, he's covered with sweat, he's huffing and puffing on his knees and hands on the ground because he's pushing himself so much and harder than Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo. Because think about it like this. This is one of the reasons why Vegeta could have been able to become more powerful than Goku, as he says a number of times throughout this part of the story. Which is that whereas Goku was already way more powerful than Piccolo and Gohan, not only in his base form when they started, but also as a Super Saiyan, the fact of the matter is that Goku never would have really been able to go all out against them. He might have been able to power up to full, but it doesn't mean that he ever would have actually been able to fight at full power against them, because the fact that neither one of them was as powerful as he was, especially Gohan. So even though we see him as a Super Saiyan here fighting against them, we're only really seeing him blocking their attacks, because realistically, if he punched Gohan or Piccolo at full power, they would immediately just explode because they'd be so much weaker than him. The only one who came really close to Goku was Piccolo, because he scales up easier than Gohan does, who doesn't even have a Super Saiyan transformation until they go into the time chambers. So whereas Goku is holding himself back in order to kind of help these two level up to get strong enough to fight against androids, Vegeta does not have that problem. Vegeta is training on himself, pushing himself constantly to his limits, pushing himself, as he says right up here, through hellish training that would allow him to become a Super Saiyan in the first place, until of course he ran into his own limits, ran into a wall that represented them, which of course, during this point in the franchise, characters were constantly hitting up against the wall of their limits. It wasn't just easy for them to get 100 times stronger from off-screen training. Vegeta had to not only level up his base to the limit that he was able to at that time, but also, in order to become a Super Saiyan, he did it because he felt such self-loathing and rage toward himself and his weakness and inability to become a Super Saiyan, that he then in turn became one and surpassed Goku. And how does Vegeta know that he surpassed Goku during this training? After all, he didn't train with Goku, but he did see Goku become a Super Saiyan 3 years before he becomes one in the story that we see on screen, when he transformed against Trunks. The two of them became Super Saiyans. Vegeta also witnessed Trunks as a Super Saiyan killing Frieza, and then the two of them had this little sparring match. So Vegeta during this was sensing everything going on. He says right here, so that is a Super Saiyan. So naturally, Vegeta was able to not only sense the power of Goku, see him on display, even though he obviously wasn't going all out, but he got a good idea as to how powerful Goku was. And this is something that comes into play that's incredibly beneficial and important when it comes to somebody who trains to become as powerful as they do. And that is visualization. As we see, we see Krillin right here meditating. As we see a number of times, the characters in Dragon Ball, when they can visualize something that they're trying to strive for, to surpass, to become more powerful than, they are far more capable of doing that. Goku, when he was sensing the power of Frieza, when he was inside the healing chamber, was able to have his body kind of scale up to Frieza so that he could fight him when he got out of that healing chamber, as I talked about in my video about how Zenkai's work in Dragon Ball. Additionally, whenever characters see like a previous villain or previous villains in the story, and then they power themselves up, they increase their strength, what do? Well, they are sensing that power in their mind. They are image training and visualizing the power of that strong enemy that they fought before. That's why Goku and friends are constantly able to go way beyond the power of characters that we see in previous arcs, because not only did they fight them, did they experience their power, but then they can keep that power in their mind as they're training constantly in order to surpass them. We saw this happen with Goku and Vegeta when they surpassed Gohan in their Super Saiyan 2 forms. And we saw this again with Vegeta when he was able to not only sense the power of Goku close up when he became a Super Saiyan, but additionally, he likely kept that in his mind the entire time. And even in the anime, they expand further where he sees dreams of Goku and Trunks as Super Saiyans and is trying to surpass both of them. Ironically, he's trying to surpass his own son at this point. And then at that point, Vegeta uses that as his fuel to the fire to become more powerful than those two Super Saiyans, as he says right here, that he had surpassed Kakarot finally and becomes the true Saiyan Messiah in his eyes, until, of course, the real Messiah steps up in Dragon Ball's context, at least, with Gohan later in the arc. And of course, the lyrics of the music itself are, "Oh Messiah, oh Messiah." So, kind of something to keep in mind with regard to the themes of this arc, which themselves are great. But nonetheless, it's not like Vegeta's the only one who's saying this. There are other characters who are saying this too. Like, for instance, after everything occurs, as we could see right here, Vegeta, after they defeat Android 19 and then 20 escapes, they're going to go after everyone. And what Vegeta says is that, "We don't need to wait for Kakarot. Can't you see? I've become a Super Saiyan 2, and as a Saiyan Prince, I must be much more powerful than he is." And again, no one's really disputing that. In fact, Piccolo right down here says, "It's true that he has seemed stronger than Goku since he became a Super Saiyan. He might be able to defeat them indeed." So again, Piccolo fought against Super Saiyan Goku during the training. He's seen Goku at his full power. He knows his capabilities as a Super Saiyan, even though neither here Gohan or necessarily anyone until Vegeta in this page were able to become as strong as him until later in the arc. The fact of the matter is that Piccolo knows Goku's capabilities better than even Vegeta does at this point, and yet he's the one who's saying that he's stronger than Goku. Vegeta says this multiple times. He reiterates this when he's on his way to fight the androids. "Forget Kakarot, I'm a Super Saiyan now too. I'm since the prince, and I should be considerably more powerful." After this, when he goes to fight against Android 18, what happens here? "You're still not hurt. This is making me mad." After he's fighting Android 18, he surpasses her force field when she's holding back and is able to damage her clothing. And then she says, "I never thought any organic being could fight like this, even an alien. Is Son Goku even stronger than you?" Of course not. He slipped ahead of me for a while, but now I'm back where I belong. So another statement about this, and Vegeta's doing well, and what does Trunks say? "Oh, I never knew my father was so powerful. He's holding his own against those androids." So Trunks is sensing the power of Vegeta here too. He sees that Vegeta's more powerful than he is, and also more powerful than Goku. And what ends up continuing to happen? Well, later on, after Vegeta is defeated by Android 18 and he flies away because this whole situation that happened, his pride is kind of stomped on again after he achieved everything he always wanted to. And what ends up happening here, Piccolo says he finally recovered his long-wounded arrogance when he became a Super Saiyan, and then he got his insides kicked out by a woman, or at least an android that looks like one. He won't be in the best mood. Vegeta, well, he's got that kind of mindset. And then they talk about how Trunks is Super Saiyan. He was felled with one blow. It makes no difference. At this point, we do see Tien say, this is the being who killed Frieza, and even he was powerless against the androids. We got to face facts. Goku is powerful, but he's not so different from Trunks or Vegeta. We can't win, not even with Goku. So again, Tien isn't 100% saying that Trunks or that Vegeta is way more powerful than Goku. But again, Vegeta's not the one who trained with Goku. Tien isn't the one who trained with him. Trunks isn't the one. Piccolo is. And Piccolo's the one is saying, as you can see right here, he's making the statement of Vegeta has seemed more powerful than Goku. And as I showed before, Piccolo trained with him. So I think it really comes down to all these different statements coming together as Toriyama's intent as a narrator and the one who's creating this story as it goes along, and additionally in terms of the different in-universe statements about the power of Vegeta, that he was more powerful at this point than Goku. In fact, he's more powerful than Goku the entire arc up until this scene right here where Goku and Gohan step out of the time chamber. Of course, you could say that they surpassed him in the time chamber, obviously, but the fact of the matter is that up until this point, Vegeta was always stronger than Goku and Gohan. He was more powerful as a Super Saiyan. Then he went into the time chamber, came out even more powerful, and had another form on top of that, or at least a variant form, the Grade 2. And so Goku was always weaker than Vegeta the entire arc up until this point when Goku and Gohan surpass him with their full power Super Saiyans, increasing their base form significantly because of Gohan's hidden potential coming out during the course of their training and pushing Goku to an even higher level, which I also discussed on another video on my channel. You could see in the cards too. And at this point, this is when they were able to finally surpass Vegeta. It's not until, well, many years later that Vegeta is as strong as Goku, and then he's able to surpass him again with different forms and stuff that I've discussed in another video. You can see in the top right corner every time Vegeta surpassed Goku. Not Virginia. What is this, Dragon Ball P? So overall, I think all the evidence suggests that Vegeta did in fact surpass Goku during the 3 years of training leading up to the androids and the Cell Saga, and he was stronger than Goku the entire arc up until when Goku and Gohan emerged from that time chamber. He was the strongest Saiyan in that universe. Not counting Broly, I guess, but we're not going to get into that right now. So with that being said, guys, what do you think? I'm sure that there will still be people debating this, so let me know your own thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
And you better subscribe!